Hey everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of Backstage Pass. My name is Ben Barnard, with me Samantha Powell, and we are so excited to welcome you to this latest episode. Sam, how you doing?
I'm doing great, getting ready for InfoComm. It is right around the corner. So many things to do and purchase. Where are you right now, Ben, in the preparation for Las Vegas?
So that was going to be my question to you, because I was kind of hoping that you would be more prepared than me. I'm like a pack the night before kind of person, sort of be a bit frantic about it, realize I haven't washed something, so I have to put that on a quick wash cycle, dry it all, get it all sorted. But so not even thinking about it just yet. How about you?
Okay, see, as a girl, I have to plan a little bit more. There's a lot of shoes that are coming. A lot of change of outfits. Like I have to buy another suitcase because I'm going to be that ridiculous person with probably like two of the larger ones and then a duffel bag and then my purse. So yeah, no, this weekend there's a lot of shopping happening. But I do a little bit of both of like that procrastination, but also like planning ahead. So it's overwhelming, but I'm excited about it.
And are you laying out stuff like you're laying it all out on the bed, suitcase there, you're planning how it works, rolling it up? Are you doing space saving techniques, rolling stuff?
Yes. Oh my gosh. So I'm not a roller, but I do get those space saver bags so you can like just flatten everything out. Like
what, the ones you get the vacuum and you sort of like suck the air out?
Exactly.
No
yes.
way. That's a great idea.
They have them, but they've got, so you don't have to have a vacuum, but they come with like a portable like pump. So you put that in. So when you come back, you can do the same thing. So so that is absolutely happening. I highly recommend investing in that. But yeah, like, are you prepared for that Vegas heat? It's been a while since you've been to Vegas, right?
Yeah, so this was what I was going to ask. So I've only been once before. That was back in 2018. So haven't been since then. Then it was, and I think still is, the record in terms of the hottest place I've ever been. I think it was like, you might have to convert this to Fahrenheit on the fly, but it was, in British English temperatures, we're talking like 40 degrees. I think it's like 110, something like that. Okay, 110 Fahrenheit.
I need to go check the weather.
Yeah, I think when it was weird though, because when we first arrived, I was we got to the airport, landed, went to the hotel. You kind of like air conditioned taxi to air conditioned hotel. I didn't quite realize, and I think it was the first day of the actual show. Got the transit there or whatever, got out and was just kind of walking into the convention center, super air conditioned. That's fine. Went out for like some fresh air at lunchtime or whatever. And it was like 40 degrees. It was insane. It was crazy. I didn't know what to do with myself. And I was like in a suit and stuff like that. So I was like,
it's intense. Wow. Yeah. And
yeah,
I can't do that conversion from the metric to Fahrenheit. So I'm guessing it's probably like 90s or I can't. Why didn't we just all do metric?
Yeah, it was quite warm. I'd say it was quite warm. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No, but I'm saying, in answer to your question, no, I'm not. I haven't done anything in preparation. Not sure there's anything I can do, but I'm just hoping my excitement to be there and to see you and the rest of the team is going to carry me through. I'm sure it will. But one thing I do need is recommendations of fun things to do in Vegas, because I gather you may have been a couple of times more than I have.
I happened to have been there a month or two ago, so it was a little cooler. So I'm preparing for a much hotter experience, but there's so much to do. I mean, granted, you're going to be doing a lot during the day at the show, but when you do have any downtime or free time, one of the things you definitely need to do, if you haven't done it already, you've got to check out the Bellagio fountains. Like, they're iconic. Yep. Like, anytime you see Vegas, you see the fountains, but it just never gets old, right? So every 30 minutes, you have like the fountain show with the music, and everybody's just like around there watching, and I love it. It never gets old for me. So you got to do that. And if you haven't been inside of the Bellagio, you really need to check that out. So I feel like it's every quarter or so. They always change up the Bellagio Gardens. But when I was there a little while ago, it was like an Alice in Wonderland type of theme. And it's just the most like fresh, gorgeous flowers, and it's just amazing. So you definitely have to add that to your list.
Nice, will do.
Are you afraid of heights? How do you feel about being high up?
Not particularly. I'm quite tall, so I've had some years to get used to that. So no, I'm okay with heights. What are you thinking?
Okay, so there's the high roller observation wheel, and I'm jealous about the height thing. I know nothing about that. But the high roller observation wheel, so I think it's the world's tallest observation wheel. It's at the link. It goes up to about 550 feet above Las Vegas.
Wow.
So it takes about like 30 minutes for a full rotation, but you can have a drink if you'd like while you're, checking out the views. So that's something.
Well, that sounds amazing. Well, without any further ado, I believe you've been having a conversation for this episode. Why don't you tell me a bit about that?
I did. I had a great opportunity to talk to Micah Larsen with Smart Charging Technologies. He's really awesome to talk to. And we were discussing their new product, Switch Always On. So that's going to be at InfoComm. So really looking forward to stopping by their booth and checking it out. It's a really great all-in-one power management solution. And it was a really interesting conversation. So why don't we take a look?
Let's do it.
So I'm joined with Micah Larsen with Smart Charging Technologies. Micah, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's my pleasure. Thanks, Sam. Happy to be here with you.
Yes, fantastic. So for those who may not really be familiar with Smart Charging Technologies, can you just tell us a little bit about your company?
Yes, for sure. So Smart Charging Technologies started in 2017, and they work in California, Oregon, Washington, Canada, doing smart rebates. So they're converting companies from propane forklifts to electric. And in those states, you get rebates for the amount of carbon credits that you generate. So what Smart Charging Technologies is doing is compiling a lot of data that is submitted to the states for companies to get rebates. And so Smart Charging Technologies is a company full of very smart, brilliant engineers. And so they're able to take that and analyze that data and help companies get their rebates from these states that are offering it.
Okay, awesome. And so I know we were talking a little bit about one of the products that I think is going to be at InfoComm, and I'm excited to check out. So Switch Always On. I love the name. I mean, it couldn't be more direct. So tell me a little bit about that product, and then what caused the team at Smart Charge to actually launch Switch Always On.
Yeah, so one of the challenges that they were faced as they were rolling out these analytics and trying to capture data was unreliable Wi-Fi. And so they were constantly dealing with access points, routers going down and requiring a reboot. And so expenses for that started to rise as they were sending trucks out to locations. Can you imagine going into a large facility and needing to get up in the roof and just to reset or reboot a wireless access point or router? And so they came up with Switch Always On, and that is the product that I oversee as sales director. I started with Smart Charging Technologies about a little over a year ago, and I saw in that product the ability to do a reboot with battery backup to those locations. So Switch Always On was actually invented or came about to solve that problem, to eliminate a service call that would come in because an access point went down. Because with Smart Charging Technologies, the information is critical. You can't just tell the state, hey, we used our forklift this long. You have to have the data to back it up. And so that became a very critical piece for them. They then looked at other industries like self-service, unattended, vending, ATMs, those digital signage, those types of industries. and said, yeah, it's critical for their businesses to have power and connectivity. And so that's where I joined the team, is to help get into those industries. So we're very new in unattended, but we have certain features that play very well to these industries. That's how Switch Always On came about.
And so I know on the website there's a focus on kiosks, so it expands much wider than just that, correct?
It does, yes. So any equipment that requires power or connectivity that at times needs to be rebooted, whether there's an update pushed out or there's dips or peaks in voltage and power, that's where we fit. So we're talking to camera companies, digital signage companies, operators who depend on reliable connectivity and power.
Okay, so that's good, because I was looking real hard at the website, and I was like, they had I do implore everybody to check it out, a really good video on how that product works. So really explain that in detail. So in terms of empowering businesses and helping them keep, operational costs down, and instead of having technicians on site, can you just enlighten me and share with our audience on how Switch Always On helps businesses maintain seamless operations without having to have those on-site technicians, fix errors and get things up to speed?
Yeah, for sure. So what I saw in the product, coming from the unattended and self-service space, is several unique features. So I'll explain some of the challenges that these operators are faced with in the unattended space, digital signage. When you're deploying several pieces of equipment and you're going into a business, let's say you want to provide, like Apple going into Costco. A lot of times, Costco and these larger organizations will not allow you to get on their network because of a security threat. And so without paying, a ton of money. So some of these smaller operators that are placing vending machines, displays, digital signage, they'll go into these locations and they'll need to bring in their own connectivity piece. So typically they're attaching a cellular router to it, and they're owning that connectivity. One of the challenges of that is that if the connectivity goes down, if the machine is offline, they typically have software that'll tell them that'll say, hey, this location is down. But what they don't know is, why is it down? Is it because there's a power outage? Is it because the carrier is down? Is there a problem with the hardware? And so typical steps is call the location, try to have somebody unplug and then plug back in the device, or worst case scenario, send a truck out there, send an employee out there to do that same thing, go troubleshoot some things, unplug it from the wall, plug it back in. I would say 98% of the questions, the first question in 98% of those service calls is, have you rebooted the solution? And what have you rebooted the equipment? And what Switch Always On does.
Fix everything, right? You just turn it on and reboot, turn it on.
Exactly right. Yeah. So even with my computer here, and when I call our IT team, they'll say, hey, have you rebooted it? That's the first question. What Switch Always On does in that case is we're not replacing any IT personnel. We just allow them to focus on the things that are most important to moving the business forward. And these service calls that are coming in that are related to power interruptions or connectivity interruptions, we want to eliminate those for them. So we take the reboot out of the question. So if a machine is offline, our cloud platform will notify them that AC power was interrupted, and it will initiate a reboot to try to restore that power. And it will continue to do so every 5 or 10 minutes, depending on what the customer wants. That's one of the unique features of Switch Always On, is you have the ability to say, try this many times, wait this long before you do the reboot, and shut down for this long before you power on. So the other cool thing is we can just do a power machine reboot and leave everything else, fine. So if it's a power interruption, we can reboot the machine to try to restore that connection. On the other side, we're also telling them that, hey, it must be AC power because you are still communicating. You're receiving that notification because the cellular router or that network piece is now using the battery that's on switch always on to communicate back to your software, to your dashboard, saying there is a power interruption. There is a connectivity interruption, those types of things. So what we are doing to empower IT organizations and network managers is we take that service call out of the mix before it happens. We're initiating that reboot before there's a call saying, hey, your machine's offline, or you get that notification saying machine's offline. We're giving that real-time information with Switch Always On.
And so those notifications, so the customers are being alerted. So it's just sending alerts to their phone. How are they getting notified of if something's offline?
Yeah, great question. So they get notified through our app. So we do have iOS and Android app and through an email. And we have critical events that'll happen. For example, loss of power or loss of connectivity. And those are real-time alerts that'll happen. And then an event log is created so you can go in and see what's going on in that environment. But I think the biggest key is to be able to know that if I've lost connection, if my machine's offline, I know that it's either the connectivity piece, because I've done a reboot and it hasn't restored the connection, or it's AC power. Is it somebody maybe unplugged the machine, or there's a power outage in that area for them.
Okay, so that sounds like a really useful tool that's already, a part of this product. Are there any other, applications that are integrated into this product that you'd like to share with our audience?
Yeah, so there's a few unique things. So when we went to, we looked at the market and we saw several gaps in the reboot solutions that were out there. First is the battery backup. So having a battery backup to power your network at the edge has proven to be very critical and important. So you can see, hey, I'm powering my network equipment. That could be a low voltage monitor. It could be a small computer at the individual device. Digital signage. It could be whatever that is. We can power that if the AC power is lost. So that's the first thing, is having the battery backup. I haven't found any other solutions that have that without plugging in a UPS for that functionality.
So
that's integrated.
How does that work? Yeah, I'm fascinated by that. So if it's not plugged in, how does that extra power source, how does that work?
Yeah, so on board we have, and with the equipment, we have a lithium-ion battery that will power equipment through 4 DC power ports. So that's another thing that makes us unique, is the 4 DC power ports are independent ports. So other solutions that out there will do a reboot on everything. So if you need to do a reboot, it will reboot the machine, the connectivity, and everything connected. With Switch Always On, we can say, if I lose connection, just reboot the router. You don't need to reboot the whole machine. We have that intelligence built in. And so we leave everything intact. In the case of needing to reboot the entire machine, we can do a sequence reboot where we say, do the Wi-Fi or do the cellular first, make sure that's online before the machine is rebooted and comes online, so it's not throwing other errors saying, I can't find my connection. So operators have really loved the fact that it'll do that sequential reboot for them as well. So the battery backup, the 4 independent DC ports are huge. And then also the management behind the power down and power up. So there's other solutions that will do a quick power down and power up, and that will throw in some equipment more errors because it didn't have a chance to fully shut down before it was powered on. And so with Switch Always On, you can say, I want you to shut down for 5 minutes before you turn back on. And then we also do scheduling power. So if you're pushing out an update and you want to do a reboot after that update, Switch Always On can handle that for you. And then the final thing with relation to digital signage is we have the ability to shut power down while business hours are not, are closed, while the business is closed, and then power that back on when they open. So with digital signage, one of the things that we learned at InfoComm last year is that there are some companies that like to conserve energy, that have the ability to shut down their screens at night and then power them back on during the day. That helps them a couple of different ways. First, energy. Second, connection. So typically, like I mentioned before, it's a cellular connection. So you're using data, and data costs money. So if they can shut that down and not use the data when nobody's around, they would prefer to do that and then have the machines turned on during business hours. So switch always, that was an enhancement that we created after InfoComm last year. So now you can have windows of power implemented.
That's great to hear that your product is really also helping with sustainability. I know that's a big topic and things that we're focusing on in our industry as well as just globally. So that's fantastic to hear that Switch Always On is able to help with that. So I want to know if you can share any case studies from your customers to support the why behind Switch Always On. I'd love to hear any examples you have of, how you've come in and really helped a customer really get their show back on track, if you will, with your product.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have several customers that I'll get calls all the time, and they'll tell me, hey, you saved me another truck roll. I just got a notification in my inbox that came in at 3 a.m. Where connection was interrupted, a reboot was executed or initiated, and connection was restored. He said, typically I would get a phone call about that. I'd come into the office and I'd get all of these alerts and people to call and try to solve those solutions. But Switch Always On has handled those for him, for this individual customer. I've got another customer that has specialty kiosks that are across the country. So if you've seen Carlos Bakery, cake vending at the casinos, those are handled by operators that can be very far, like away from that location. And we had one that was constantly sending a third party out to fix issues that were, coming back with resolutions of initiated power reboot, and that fixed the solution, or no fault found, which means, hey, we unplugged it and we plugged it back in and it's working now. So it's very expensive for them to deal with these type of power and connectivity solutions. So they've been very impressed. The one with Carlos Bakery was using a different device before that was not reliable, and so it wasn't solving the issue. The other thing to consider too is that when you have a device, a reboot device that doesn't have battery backup, if you go offline, it's difficult to initiate the reboot because you're offline. You have no connection to the device. What Switch Always On does for these customers is it allows that network to be powered on while they're troubleshooting and taking care of issues remotely. It's already done reboots for them. So it really streamlines their service calls if they do get them in the first place. I do also have a lot of customers that are dealing with jukeboxes. And so those will go off late at night sometimes. And they'll call the location, and these bartenders are like, hey, I'm busy serving people. I can't go unplug your device and plug it back in. And so that saved them by doing an automatic reboot for them as well. So every time I call customers, they say, hey, you saved me this many truck rolls, this many service calls, send me some more.
Wow, I never would have thought of jukeboxes being used using this technology. Yeah. That is awesome. I have been known to, yes, I'm that person like trying to be the DJ at a bar or so. So I'd be very disappointed if that went offline and we weren't able to get it back up. So I will go in now asking if they're using your product just to make sure.
Yes, definitely. I appreciate it.
They need to know about it.
Right, exactly.
Wonderful. Mm-hmm. So I know last year, we were chatting a little earlier. So last year was your first time at InfoComm, right? In Orlando. So I want to hear a little bit about what your thoughts were there, your experience, and also what you have to look forward to for this upcoming InfoComm in Las Vegas. So first chat with me a little bit about how it was last year.
Yeah, so last year was overwhelming. I mean, it was just such a great show. So much traffic, so much traffic coming to the booth. We had a lot of conversations around enhancements or what this product is doing. Because as I mentioned, we're not very well known in this industry yet. And so people taking a look at it, comparing it to what they were, currently using, and offering insight, was so valuable for us. So just a major show, lots of scans, lots of communication. And we took away from that a lot of enhancements, that we're going to implement into two new products, that are coming out that we're going to release actually at this InfoComm, in Vegas. So, all in all, that show InfoComm was a huge success for us last year. It was our exact target market. A lot of integrators, a lot of people that are dealing with this and trying to solve this. And having that battery backup really was intriguing to them because they have tried reboot solutions in the past that, because of that, if that connection fails, they're not able to initiate it, the reboot. And so we do things a little bit differently. So yeah, it was great. It was great fun too.
It's always a good time. So if you thought Orlando was fun, Vegas may be just a little bit more.
Yes, yeah.
There may be a little bit more to do there. Just saying. But you did mention, there's a lot. But so you did mention that there's two features or two new things that you're going to bring to this InfoComm. Are you able to give us a little teaser now?
Yes, absolutely. So from our show last year, when you look at Switch Always On, you can categorize it into two different categories. AC power. So you want to manage the AC power side. That's the power coming into the machine. And then also DC or network power. So those DC appliances that are networking, like content managers, things like that. Our initial Switch Always On, the one that we currently have, is a DC or network power management device. So the 4 DC ports, they're going to be powering the content management solutions, the cellular routers, those types of things. And now for this show coming up, we're going to have an AC version that's just monitoring. I'll have the battery backup, but also we'll be monitoring the AC power. So that was one of the suggestions from last year, is like, hey, I just need some outlets that are managed. And when I see something happen, or if I get an alert, I want it to reboot for me automatically. That's something that's coming out and that we'll be presenting at InfoComm. And then my favorite one is what we call the hybrid. So that's bringing in both AC and DC power management into one device. Into a very small, form factor that's designed to go to the edge, to be at the edge, as opposed to in a server room. So we will be managing the AC power and the DC power all in one device. So currently, I'll show you what it looks like. This is the Switch Always On. We call it the DC4, and this is the current product. And what we see on top here is this is where the lithium-ion battery is. So I pull that down. This is replaceable as well. So that's where the battery, and this battery is providing line conditioning and surge protection as well to these 4 DC ports. So we have 2 5-volt and 2 12-volt ports that we're powering equipment from this side here. On this side is the AC power. So we have the AC power input right here. That's what's charging the battery and keeping this equipment here powered on when AC power is available. When AC power is interrupted, the equipment on this side will be powered by the battery, and still provided that surge protection and line conditioning. This Ethernet port is for the network. So this could be a landline. It could be a cellular router that's plugged in here for the connectivity piece for that machine or a particular piece of equipment. So this one is our current solution. And when you look at Switch Always On, you can see 2 types of products. AC power management, where you have maybe a plug on here that you'd plug your equipment into and be able to manage, and DC or network management. And that's with our current product, we're doing primarily DC network management. The new products that are coming out that we'll be releasing at InfoComm, we have one that'll be a hybrid, which will have still the DC power ports, but now we'll have integrated an AC power plug as well. And then also we'll have the hybrid will also have cellular functionality with GPS embedded. That will be a secondary cellular to your primary cellular. So that's what's coming is the hybrid, and then we'll also have a AC powered product as well, which will have the plugs that are managed to do the auto reboots, as power is interrupted. So that was feedback that we received from last year's show, and so we're very excited to present those at this year's show.
Wow, Micah, that's amazing and so impressive that all of that technology is in that little box. I was expecting something a lot larger. So that will work on, something very small to something very large, huh? That'll accommodate any size.
Yes. Yeah. That's another thing that gives us that uniqueness is that it is built for the edge. So we designed Switch Always On to go out in the field with self-service stations, checkouts, these small machines and unattended machines, and you could see that would just fit in there in most of them, and reboot those for the customers and keep them online. So yeah, it's definitely compact, and we call it an all-in-one solution with the battery backup and auto reboots.
Okay, so it sounds like you have a lot of great new things that you're going to be showing at InfoComm with those two additional pieces to the line. So is there anything else in terms of, cellular technology that's going to be shown at InfoComm that is part of the product line?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked, because I wanted to mention with the hybrid solution, we do have, just based off of information from last year, we do have 2 Ethernet ports that we're including in it. And then also an embedded cellular module for back-end access. So it's not going to replace the primary cellular functionality, but we will include GPS. So if a machine, let's say, is on the road, like somebody takes it as an example, this is just this one example, the GPS will be powered by the Switch Always On hybrid device, and you'll be able to track where that's going. But also for asset management, it's just going to have that longer extended period of time if there's a longer power outage to be saying, hey, well, you're still offline or power was restored. That's some of the new things that we'll be seeing this year.
Wow. Okay. So a lot of things, a lot of exciting things that people need to come and check out. So I'm so excited that you're going to be at InfoComm again. So for all of those who want to stop by, check out the product up close and personal and see everything that this product line has to offer, give us your booth number and just tell us how we can get more information and schedule a meeting with you if we want to learn more.
Okay, awesome. Yes, we're excited to meet everybody there at InfoComm. We're going to be at booth C5769. And you can get in touch with me at mlarsen@switchalwayson.com or at our website, switchalwayson.com, to find information. We do have information about the hybrid on that website as well. And so, it's very excited to be there again, meet who we met last year and meet others. It should be a great show.
All right. So Micah, for our first time attendees, there are a bunch of them coming to Las Vegas at InfoComm for the first time. Please share one or a few of your tips, tricks, or advice when it comes to attending InfoComm and even just going to Las Vegas for the very first time.
All right. Happy to do that. I'll start with InfoComm. One of the things that I would recommend for anyone coming new, or anyone for that matter, is definitely come with a plan. InfoComm is so large, and there's so many exhibitors, there's so many attendees. Really knowing who the target is and and narrowing down on them, getting on the app. Typically, there's going to be an app, and just having a schedule, plan that out, and be very efficient on your time. That's one thing that I saw last year is it's just, like I mentioned before, so overwhelming, but in a good way. And so having a plan and who you want to talk to and who you want to meet with, InfoComm does a really good job of bringing people together to accomplish that. So don't go in blind. That's the first thing, is come prepared.
Absolutely.
Second thing
and
is,
yes, I will. Yeah, I will also say that with the app piece of it, you're absolutely right. And that app is now available. So had to just throw that in there. Yeah. So now the second piece.
Yes, the second and maybe more fun thing is have fun. So what I typically love to do, if you don't know me, but you will get to know me, I love pizza. And anywhere I go, I try to find the great pizza spots. And there's one at the Venetian. It's called Grimaldi's. It's coal-fired pizza.
We are here.
Yes, that is a must. You got to see that. I know I'm going to hit it a couple times while we're there, but I'm always trying to find, unique. There's also the Good Pie down in the Art District of Vegas that does a really good job as well. But just come and have fun. There's so many things to do in Vegas. I'm a big karaoke guy, so you might see me on stage somewhere. You could find anything down in Vegas. But I think in order to have that fun, be prepared, and have a very efficient show, so you can get out and kind of party and rock. Get some pizza and karaoke at night.
Absolutely. Well, we are kindred spirits, because I have been trying to plan my schedule out to find out when I can go to Grimaldi's, because I had that a couple of months ago. Pizza is phenomenal. So yes. I know we were talking about jukeboxes earlier, and you're a karaoke guy. I can't leave this segment without asking you, what is your karaoke song? You look kind of like Don't Stop Believin', but I need you to tell me what is your song of choice?
Yeah. My go-to is the Sweet Caroline, Neil Diamond. And I have specific rules when it comes to karaoke, but that's one.
Okay. I live in North Carolina. It is overdone, but I'll allow it. I will allow it. I will stop by. Please let me know when and where. I will bring a pie and enjoy the festivities. So I can't wait to check out your booth, and maybe we'll have to sync up at some point, get some pizza and sing some tunes.
Let's definitely do it. Yeah, I'm always game.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Mike. I've had a wonderful time talking with you, and I can't wait to check out your booth.
Yep. Hey, appreciate it, Sam. Thanks so much. And have a great show and safe travels.
Thank you. You too. Well, I really enjoyed chatting with Micah about Switch Always On. And as I said before, I'm definitely excited to check out that product at their booth, along with some of the other things that they're going to have featured. And he definitely won me over with his passion for food and pizza. We are going to have to go to Grimaldi's. It is phenomenal.
100% up for that. I'm a big pizza guy, so definitely keen to take him up on that recommendation. I have a question though for you.
Yes. He said his go-to karaoke song is Sweet Caroline, which in the States is overplayed. Why are they playing that at your football stadiums and you guys all love it? What is it about Sweet Caroline, Ben? I don't get it.
It must be the audience participation. I would much rather see something, because the last thing you want for sports fans is to get them any more excited. I'd like to see a depressing song, something like Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen, something very, very somber. Just bring the energy down. We need to relax. Okay.
Yes.
Sweet Caroline, that's only getting people pumped up.
Right at the Manchester United games. I can see, hallelujah. Yeah, that's going to be a winner.
Yeah. Just a really just relaxing, slightly depressing, let's bring it down a notch, guys. Come on. Because, anyway, but no, definitely looking forward to taking up on those recommendations for the pizza. Big pizza guy. I'm sure they have like a good margarita. That's a good one. Good go-to for me. Maybe chuck some mushrooms on there.
Oh my gosh. And also good bruschetta. Yeah. We're going to come back 5 pounds heavier just from that dinner. Yeah, but it's so worth it.
Yeah, you just got to accept that fact. But that was an awesome interview. Well, we've come to the end of this one, but we look forward to seeing everyone on the next episode of Backstage Pass, because we're going to be speaking to our friends at Real Motion. So that's going to be super exciting. But until then, for the Backstage Pass podcast, I'm Ben Barnard. That's Samantha Powell, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. See you soon.
See you soon.